Forever in my dreams. This is one of those hold your lighter in the air,
Definitely.
right? Or nowadays, because holding your lighter in the air offends people, you hold your cell phone, right? I don't know if people will get their feelings hurt when you put your lighter in the air.
I want to get straight to the phone lines
Let's
because
go.
I'm
Okay,
scared
fine.
we might
I
get
know.
disconnected
Okay,
or
yes.
something.
We have former Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo, who is currently heading the liaison office for the Office of the Governor in Washington, D.C. Good morning, Congresswoman.
Hi, is this Chris?
This is Chris. We have Sabrina here too, and we're
Hi, doing Sabrina.
Good morning or evening.
Phone number.
Yeah, there was some issues with the phone number, so I'm just glad that we're able to connect and hear from you.
Hi. How much time do we have?
How much time do you need? Just kidding.
Is my sister give me?
Well, we haven't spoken to you, so we got a lot of time if you'd like.
I know. Well, listen, first of all, I'd like to do a shout out to all the employees at KUAM because I used to work there way back in the 50s. Probably before you were born, but anyway, half a day to all of you.
Half a day. Yes, we know you are an alum here, KUAM fam. So, the reason why we wanted to reach out to you, I'm not sure if you've heard, but Senator James Moylan, he wrote a letter to the governor basically asking what are you doing over there? How much are we paying you?
Well, everybody over here is kind of in a lockdown. It has been for almost a year. And I think the governor did reply to his letter. But I would like to say a few words here to both you and Chris about this governor's office. It was established in the 70s by Governor Ricky Bordallo, and the first director was former Judge B.J. Cruz. So, and it's been going on all these years, I don't know how many years now that is. That's about 50 years. But anyway, just to let you know, we are located in the Hall of State, and there's 24 governor's offices currently in the Hall of State. And 5 states also have, besides the governor's directors, they have lobby firms. And the only remaining territories that are not here are CNMI and Puerto Rico. But they have offices, they have offices in D.C., but not at the Hall of State. So it's a very important office, and every governor has their priorities. And sometimes these priorities do not come under the purview of Congress. So that's when we come in. And being a former congressperson, I was there for 16 years, I network a lot with members of Congress, and we have no voice in the armed services for now, and we have no voice in the Senate. So this is where I network with my friends, just to let you know, okay?
Well, thank you for the history lesson, Congresswoman. Can you tell us what you have been up to, though?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, let me say that the amount of money that the governor spends for this office is not anywhere near what we receive from the federal government, especially during this pandemic situation. Roseanne Montanonia is my assistant here. She worked with me all the while I was in Congress, and that was, now it's amounting to about 20 years. The two of us are together. We're working from home. We opened the office in 2019, and then we had our first Christmas there, and then we had an opening, a big opening. The local Romanian organization here helped us out, and we invited many people, many members of Congress, and some of the NGA officials, and it was great. We even had chanters over here. So right now, and of course, then we were told there was a pandemic. That was in March of last year. And we thought, well, maybe just a few days, they said to leave the building because they had 3 cases there. So we did. We left the building and we never returned. We worked from home. So right now, Sabrina and Chris, I do one or two Zoom conference calls with the National Governors Association every week. And I've been doing this for the last year. And those calls are very, very important because the different directors of health and education and transportation and defense, they all come on and they give us the latest reports of what are going on in Congress. And now, of course, the last call I made was Wednesday of this week, and we discussed the distribution of the vaccine. And I interrupt a lot on these calls. So, and I always wonder because, they tend to say the states. And I always say, does that include the territory? Because, it's very tricky there. The territories are not mentioned. We may be out of luck, and we'd have to go along with a standalone bill. So this is what we do, and we keep, I've been very active here. We entertain. The governor has been here to the office, the lieutenant governor. We have the Chamber of Commerce have been here, and other officials from Guam. We entertain them. Sometimes they ask for help in arranging hotel stays or whatever the case might be. Roseanne has been very, very helpful. She worked with me for so many years, so she knows. She knows the workings of Congress. And there's two places where both the delegate's job and my job are completely different. He answers to the members of, he answers to the people of Guam about Congress. And I am responsible for answering and giving reports to the governor to let her know. And I will say that I'm very proud of Guam because we have met every deadline on getting grants, and it's been very successful. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. So what are some of the grants then that we are receiving that you've helped acquire?
Well, right now we're just concentrating on the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It's the $1.9 trillion package that passed the House, that's now over in the Senate, and I understand it's really being reworked. So that's kind of sad, I don't know whether the hourly wages. I understand that the president has just about given up on that. But other than that, I think the president has done an excellent job, and he's working hard. And in fact, today we were supposed to have these terrorists come back to Washington to whatever they're going to do, because they were going to proclaim that the former president was going to be inaugurated today. So we've got an awful lot of security here, National Guardsmen, and they're all over. And by the way, when the 130 Guam Guardsmen came here to Washington, we entertained them. I entertained them with the Vietnamese Association of America. They remember Guam, and they always are very grateful for the fact that they were able to stay on Guam. And when they came, in fact, there were 40-some boats sent them, and Governor Rickey was the one that accepted them into the island and took care of them. And now they're all prosperous people here in D.C. and other states. So they helped us out. We had food, and we entertained. We took pictures, and it was a lot of fun because I hadn't been out with people for a long time. And incidentally, I did get my shot. I got my first shot, and my second one is due March 10th. So I want you to know that I'm going along with all the rules.
Right. That's good to hear. Congressman, so how many staff members do you have?
How many what?
Staff members? Is it yourself and Roseanne?
Yes, just Roseanne and myself. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we invite everybody to. And incidentally, I want you to know that Roseanne has reported to me that she still receives many calls from the people of Guam. So we try to do what we can. Especially war claims. They still want more information, and so regardless of the fact that I'm in another position now, but we still try to do what we can for our people. And as I said, I'm very active with the the Guam society here. They've been very good. Well, I'll tell you, actually, I attend the Christmas parties, the cherry blossom, and, whatever. And then they have the novenas, the Christmas novenas, and I even had a couple of the novena parties in my apartment here. So, I keep in close contact, and I'm so happy when this is over and we can now spread our wings and start doing more work. But I don't know how it is on Guam, Sabrina, because I haven't been home in some time, but I certainly am looking forward to the day when we can go back to a normal situation.
Right. Yeah.
Congresswoman, this is Chris. So, hi. Good morning. When you
Hi,
talk.
Chris.
Good morning. When you talk about the entertaining people and kind of running things down for the governor, just for the people listening, right, who might think that that's not necessarily something essential, which is also a point that Senator Moylan has argued, saying that you and your office are not essential. How would you respond to that?
Well, let me just speak to Jim, if he's listening in. I'm sure he is. And incidentally, Jim, I don't quite understand where you're coming from. Kaleo and Kurt, I served with him, and they were my very good friends. So anyway, I'll just tell you, the governors have a lot of different priorities, and many of them are not, they don't go through, you can't go through Congress for some of these things that they're asking for. So that's why it's important, and that's why this office was established way back in the 70s, and B.J. Cruz was the first director. And the governors, will come about with something, and they want something, they might want to get, I don't know whether they're looking for lobbyists or what they're doing, but that's when this office comes into play. And now that I am a former member of Congress in this office, it even helps more because I do know quite a few people, but the delegate has his responsibilities, and I have my responsibilities to the governor of Guam. So I think that's kind of what you are asking about.
Right, yeah, because Senator Moylan is saying we've already got Congressman Michael St. Nicholas out there, and he is, working, like you said, in Congress. We're all waiting for what action will be taken on the president's $1.3 trillion plan.
Right.
And he's saying that, really, what are you doing? It's inconsequential. What your office is doing in terms of response to this pandemic.
Yeah, Congresswoman, he said you're inconsequential.
Yeah, let me tell you this. The way we do it, every time I go on to the Zoom conference calls with the National Governors Association, sometimes twice a week, once a week, we've been doing it, and we're very faithful. If you contact the National Governors Association, they know Guam. So we get on, and they give us these reports of what's coming up in Congress, how things are going through the House and the Senate. And then we print that out. We send it to the governor of Guam and to the chief of staff, John Kelvin. Then they look at it, and, of course, that's an advance notice because we're getting it before it even goes out to the press. So I'm working with the federal government as far as how they're doing with bills and so forth. That's been going on now. So I'm not one that looks for publicity for everything I do, but that's the way we work it. It goes, every report from those meetings go to the chief of staff and to the governor of Guam.
Mm-hmm. So you
As I said, and I want to point out again, I want to make it very clear. This office is very important. Because many times the governors, not just the governor of Guam, but the governor of any state, they may want something here in the nation's capital that doesn't pertain to a member of Congress. And that's where we come in. I hope you understand that.
Well, I'm sure Senator Moylan understands that. You've made that clear. And I really appreciate you coming on the call and responding because his letter he's introduced a bill to remove and basically get rid of your office.
Yeah. Do you take that personal, Congresswoman?
I will mention too that I took a big cut in salary when I came over here. I'm sure you know what it is. I don't have to mention it. And so did Roseanne. But I felt so compelled to keep this office open and active. And if it wasn't for this pandemic, nobody can help that. Everybody's working from home. Washington is actually now we just opened dining in. But, I'm looking out right now when I'm talking to you on Virginia Avenue here. There's nobody here. No traffic, no, it's really sad. It's so sad. And now that the president is in and he's trying his best, it's not going to be easy to overturn all of these things, but he's trying his best and things are already looking better. And we're finally getting the vaccine distributed because I don't know where it was going. It wasn't going to the rural areas. So now it seems to be, getting out there. And I finally, my age, and I couldn't get the vaccine. I called everywhere. So finally, it was a friend of mine in Congress that was able to get me to get my first shot. Mm-hmm. So I got my first shot, and the second one is due March 10th. And then I know you're going to ask me because I think you wanted to go on FaceTime, right?
Yes, or even Zoom.
Yeah, well, okay, I do Zoom, but I do it by the iPhone, and I do the Zoom. Yeah, but Chris, to go on FaceTime, this is pandemic. I haven't had my hair done for so long.
Congresswoman, I just wanted to ask, and then maybe we can set up something where you come on this show, maybe like every couple weeks, and just share with the people what you're working on there in D.C. But I wanted to ask, just because of your experience as a former Congresswoman who also had an ethics investigation against her, did you have a comment on the current delegate's ethics investigation and kind of the turn that it's taken with the formation of the subcommittee?
Yeah, I don't really know too much about it except that they're going into further investigation. I think it's because of money. Mine was never that. It was just living in my family hotel and what was the other one now? Renting a home to the Japanese Consul General. And that I've been doing for, I think it's about 30 years now. So those were the only two things. And that was taken care of.
Okay. I did want to follow up on something you said regarding these Zoom conferences that you participate in once or twice a week with the National Governors Association.
That's
right.
Correct.
Right. Does the governor also participate in these same Zoom conferences?
Yes, the governor has his also. There are certain times when AGA will call just the governors together. And Lou is always on the phone. We inform her about the dates and the times, and that's when I'm not allowed. If it's only governors, no staff. But then there has been a couple of conferences where the governors and the staff are included. So it's a very good way we work it out. I just wish I was in my office because, there's more equipment there, and it's much easier. And incidentally, the Hall of States, I invite you to come and visit us. We have a cute little office. It's a tiny office, and we can walk to the Capitol, and like the Chamber of Commerce came to visit me, the whole defense group, and I've had so many visitors, that come. But of course, during the pandemic, now we haven't had very many.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to just knock out some of these other questions that were raised in Senator Moylan's letter to make sure you have a full opportunity to respond. And so, how much are you getting paid, and how much is Roseanne getting paid?
I'm getting paid $50,000.
And Roseanne.
And Roseanne, you might have to ask her. I think it's 60, a little bit more.
And how much?
More, but I took 60,000.
Right. And how much does it cost to maintain the Guam liaison office?
To maintain it, well, we pay rent. You know, you'd have to talk to Roseanne. Now, she handles the office, running the office, but she will have all those figures.
Okay.
And, you know, and by the way, when we came in to the Hall of State, I was rather shocked because we had to start. I mean, we had to begin with nothing. The office had been closed about 6 months in advance to my being appointed. So we had to go from scratch and, you know, get a new office and get some furniture and so forth and so on. So it was difficult, you know. It took us quite a while. And then, of course, you're going from, you know, you're going back to Gov Guam. You have to deal with the government of Guam because they're the ones that, you know, pay for it and work for it. I mean, they'll work with us. So it wasn't easy. And then the pandemic hit. So I've just been, you know, really kind of, I've never dealt like this. I'm a very active person and I want to, you know, get on the plane and go home and do this. But, you know, I'm so, I mean, I listen to all the scientists over here and what they have to say about this pandemic. And right now there's 2 states, Mississippi and Texas, that are opening everything up. So I don't know what's going to happen. They've been told by the president that it's not a good idea. And I'm really proud of the job that Lou is doing because we haven't had great numbers on Guam, and she's had it good. And I know the 2 of you, Chris and Sabrina, I know that people don't like it when you have to close their stores and their hotels and so forth. Nobody likes it. But the same thing is happening here in the United States. People are complaining and, you know, they're mad and they blame the governors and they blame it, whatever. So, but she did what was right and had to quarantine people. And so it's, you know, I never thought I would ever live through something like this. It would last a year.
All right. We really appreciate we really appreciate you coming on, Congresswoman. And hopefully, like Chris mentioned, that we could speak to you on a more frequent basis, whether it's every other week or when.
Yeah, maybe we should arrange something.
I think we'd really appreciate it, and so would the people of Guam.
Yeah, I've often said, "Oh, Madeleine, we don't hear from you." I said, "Well, you know, I'm really not out there to promote myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, if we're doing our job, we're sending in reports from the National Governors Association to the Chief of Staff on Guam and to the governor. That's our job. I don't expect that, you know, I'm to be highlighted in any way. But, you know, people want to see you and hear you and so forth and so on. So and like I said, FaceTime, folks, boy, I got to go out and fix myself.
Zoom's fine.
Congresswoman, I guess before you go, we did have a comment here on the Facebook about this is about a large parcel of land that the military, I guess, gave to Gov Guam to build a northern high school, and now that land has kind of been fenced off by the military. Do you know anything about this?
Well, I know that was being discussed when I left Congress.
Yeah.
Before I left Congress, yeah. And I don't know the details, but, you know, I'll tell you, in as much as we don't have a voice in defense, I keep in contact with the committee people and some of my colleagues, so I know what's going on. And I know that I'm very concerned about the military buildup, and I know that they say that just like now, the NDAA is before Congress, and we're trying to try to protect the funds there.
Hello?
We might have lost her.
Okay. So, thanks, Congresswoman Bordallo, for connecting with us. We had some issues at the beginning, but we finally connected with her. And then
we lost the Congresswoman.
Yeah. But I like hearing from her.
Yeah.
That was really nice to catch up and see what she's been doing. And as many of you heard, you know, because of the pandemic, she's basically been working from home.
Yeah.
But things are slowly reopening in D.C. So, what did she say? Her office is in the Hall of States?
It's in the Hall of States.
Hall of
That's where
States.
like a lot of the offices are for, you know, some Congress people have their offices there, some other liaison type people. And I'm going to send some FOIAs because I did a really huge FOIA on Margaret Metcalf, and I guess I'll do the same for Congresswoman Bordallo. I mean, lost sight of it because of the pandemic, but when we talk about Congresswoman Bordallo having one staffer and then paying the rent for the office, I don't know if those are the only expenses, because I remember when I sent a FOIA about the former liaison, Margaret Metcalf, and again, this is under the Calvo-Tenori administration, she was like renting cars, you know, going out to eat, doing all these. So there's all these other expenses that came with the office, because like Congresswoman Bordallo said, she's out there meeting people on behalf of the governor or whatever, and there's a cost to that kind of stuff. So